press conference session. We are recording this meeting, and I know we were going to start about 10:45, but the other part of the press conference got done a little sooner, so I think we'll go ahead and get started, and people can join us if they continue to come in. But today we wanted to just give a highlight of the continued partnership that Central Arizona College has with Sundt Construction. Before we do that, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Angela Askey. I'm the Executive Director of Public Relations and Marketing at Central Arizona College. And from the college today, representing CAC and our Sundt partnership, I have Dr. Jackie Elliott, CAC President, Tina Berry, our Academic Dean, James Bush, who does our workforce development, and I believe, I'm not sure if Sean Ray has joined us from Sundt Construction yet. I'm not seeing that he's here yet.
It doesn't look like it. I'll text him real quick.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and Sean a few moments to join us. But like I said, we will, once he's able to come on, we'll go ahead and discuss the partnership. If there's any questions that anybody has specifically for our CAC staff that are involved in the call, please go ahead and you can put it in the chat, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead and ask the question that you may have. And I know also in the conference call, they discussed the Google certificate. If there's any questions that may come up about that, we will try those as well. Looks like. All right, it looks like Sean has joined us. Welcome, Sean. And I'll just introduce Sean. He is I'm not going to have his title right. I'll let him introduce himself.
My name's Sean Ray. I'm the Director of Craft Workforce Development for Sundt Construction.
All right. Thank you, Sean. I guess if we want, James or Sean, if you want to maybe give some quick updates as far as partnership between CAC and Sundt, and if there's anything new that you would like to highlight, and then we can open it up to questions, or if Dr. Elliott and Tina would have anything to add, they can do so at that time.
James, you want to kick it off?
Sure. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with what the Sundt CAC Workforce Development Partnership was, but sounds like I'm getting some feedback. Is everybody else getting that? Oh, looks like somebody must have muted their mic. So anyway, the Workforce Development Partnership started about 3 years ago, where Sundt and CAC partnered up to start producing well-trained skilled craft professionals and to start putting them directly to work after graduation. We started off with very low numbers in our skilled trades division, and since then we met our goal of 100 students initially. We doubled that the next year, and then we more than tripled that the next year. The enrollment's been extremely high. We have 100% placement after graduation, and normally it's prior to graduation that these students have 3 or 4 job offers from different partners, including Sundt Construction. The overall programs have increased or have gotten significantly better with the help of Sundt Construction and the utilization of their craft workforce trainers that Sean generously allows to come and teach voluntarily on the campus. I think that's a general overview. Sean or Jackie, do you guys want to add anything?
The only thing I would add is one of the critical components of the partnership, and we started it. We wanted to address the industry issue, not a Sundt Construction issue. And I think with us being able to open up the recruiting to other contractors, it's breathed a lot of life into the program, and it's brought other partners to the table. James, you know, we started off the Sundt CAC partnership, but since then, you know, Vulcan Materials has joined on, Wilson Electric has joined on, and the list goes on and on. So I think when you create programs that open up to the public and they see the success and the 100% job placement, I think it's a winning combo, and I think that was a critical piece of our success.
If I might, I'd like to add one of the things that I think makes this partnership a true partnership and unique. And not only is Sean sitting here with us today at this press conference, he's involved in everything that we do. And why I think this is a true partnership, and I'll give you an example. I've been in higher ed a long time, and most of our workforce craft programs, career technical education programs, we have what we call an advisory board. And the process is that you meet once a year, the advisory board comes in, there are probably 30, 40 people on your advisory board. You feed them breakfast, you ask, hey, what do you need from us? And we as academics, we nod our head and we say, okay, that's nice. And then when the meeting's over, then our advisory board goes back to doing their business. We go back to doing what we've always done. And then we wonder why our employer partners are not happy with the skill that we provide. And so that's very typical. But this partnership is unique in that when Sundt came to us, they said, this is what we need. And we said, you need to help us build this program. So we co-designed the program. We co-deliver the program. We stay constantly engaged. We present together. I mean, John and James probably spend more time together presenting and sharing the program than they do with their significant others. And that is, I think in that sense, it's a sustainable program, a sustainable partnership, because we do stay consistently engaged. And we had a commitment up front from both Sundt's board and our board that this is not going to be a situation where you get a check from a company and you hang their banner and you have a pseudo partnership that in 5 years people go, oh, why is that banner there? And you go, oh, I think at one time we did something with this company. But we're doing our own thing now. So I think that's what makes it unique. And then when we talk about this partnership, you can imagine when I'm sharing what all went into it is you're probably thinking, boy, that's really time consuming. And it is. But at the end of the day, it's the right thing for our students because they're getting the skill they need that has meaning in the workforce, leaving with a credential that has meaning in the workforce, and they're getting jobs. So that's what I wanted to share.
Well said. I always get goosebumps when we talk about it. I think I get kind of used to, everything that's going on. And then when I start hearing you guys talk about it, I'm like, yeah, this is a really awesome thing. So Angela, is that a good overview, or were you looking for something else, or do you want us to talk about, accomplishments or anything like that? I think we're based, if I'm not mistaken, I think the idea is that we're talking about COVID-19 and stuff like that. So.
Right. I mean, I think there are some new accomplishments that you would like to highlight. You can go ahead and do so, and then we can also open it up if there's any specific questions from the floor.
Okay, so I'll start off, and then luckily Jackie and Sean and myself and Tina, we've done this enough that we'll just jump in whenever we see the moment. But yeah, so as far as accomplishment goes, I've kind of touched on already the division. The division has more than tripled over the last 3 years. Budgetarily, the program is running better than ever, and we're able to capture a lot of donations from Sundt Construction and other partners. Matter of fact, even through the COVID pandemic, we were able to coordinate Sundt Construction donating some steel structures and storage containers that they called me up and they were like, look, we have these and we know you guys could use them. And I think it just speaks to, even though with everything that everyone has going on, Sundt still has us on the front part of their mind. And when something like that comes up, they want to make sure they call us and we get to take advantage of a situation like that. And it's been really great. Some other accomplishments that we've had, internally in the division is the skill set of our instructors has gone up significantly. Having instructors that work in the workplace currently and teaching at the same time is a great asset, not only to the college, but mostly to the student. I know that back when I was going to school and things like that, there was this, old kind of saying, you know, when you get to work and they, you know, usually they pull you aside and they go, okay, look, forget everything you learned at school. That's the old way. We're going to teach the way we do it now. And I think we've fixed that issue. When we graduate students and they go to work for Sundt or anyone else, the feedback we're getting that these students are outperforming people that have graduated journeyman level courses. The feedback we're getting says that these students are performing at a much faster pace than any entry level employee that they've had in years. And I think that really contributes to working so closely with an industry leader like Sundt Construction. And those are probably the things that I'm most proud of, like getting the feedback from companies saying, hey, you know, we hired 5, we'll take 15 more. And then I have to break it to them that I don't have 15 more, is probably the thing that I get the most enjoyment out of. But Sean or Jackie, do you guys want to add anything?
Yeah, I would like to add just a little bit. Not only the bellwether was a pretty big deal for us, but as a result of that, we've been able to help other colleges and universities, in particular community colleges, replicate this program on their campuses. And I think that's something else to be proud of, is that as educators, we inherently want to help others. And when we're able to help Tarrant County Community College replicate this program, Richland Community College, and other colleges across the nation that are struggling with what we were struggling with, is how do we make meaningful workforce connections and partners that add value to our students, that enable them to be highly skilled and hired, and solving the problem across the nation, not just within Arizona. And I think that's something too to be proud of with this program.
Yeah, if I could add to that, this program has, I agree with Jackie, it's given us not only a strong voice in Arizona, but really across the United States. James and I had the pleasure of speaking in Washington, D.C. last year at the National Association of General Contractors Leadership Conference, which was a huge deal for us. James and I both are part of the NCCER's National Workforce Development Committee. So we have a platform to continue to try to promote the construction industry as well as the education, and show people that they could actually come together and be a successful partnership. When we first started this, there was a lot of, I'll say from the education side and the construction side, there was a lot of people who doubted that this type of partnership could really be as effective as what James and I were preaching. As they've come in and have seen what we're doing and started practicing it themselves, they're starting to realize that it's not necessarily always about money. That's the first thing that people always jump to. It's about that partnership. It's about the collaboration. And, you know, as we start talking about, you know, what's happening during the COVID, the partnership is what's going to keep everything going. It's utilizing new technology that both of us can utilize. But if you don't have that partnership, if you don't have that collaboration, it doesn't matter how good your curriculum is. It doesn't matter how good your instructors are. If people are working in sync, it doesn't work.
This is Tina, and I wanted to share too that with the COVID, like Sean was saying, we were concerned a little bit about what the enrollment might be for fall. So I'd like to know, James, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so happy to talk about that. I was very pleasantly surprised, not surprised, but I was very pleasantly, I guess, surprised that our enrollment is actually still up. We have our welding program is currently at max capacity. Our HEO program is currently at max capacity, and our other programs are either on track for max capacity as they have been in the past, you know, pre-COVID-19, or even above the average enrollment for this stage in the game. I know we have some educators, you know, on the call, and so you guys know that a lot of times people like to sign up last minute. But I'm looking at, I was very nervous about enrollment because we worked so hard to get our enrollment to max capacity. and I was worried that this was going to have a negative effect on it, but it didn't. I think that says a lot about the program. I think it says a lot about the companies that we partner with and people that want to that want to go to work for these companies and start a career with these companies. We don't just give jobs. We don't just give people the ability to go out and get a job. We're giving people skill sets to start a career with an incredible company. Sundt Construction, if you're not familiar, is an incredible company. And I realize I might be a little biased because I have a ton of Sundt Construction gear. However, you do your own research. It's a 100% employee-owned company. I have a student that as a success story, I have one student that actually dropped out of high school at 16 years old. He had a tragic incident in his family where his father passed away and he had to help mom pay the bills. And so he dropped out of high school at 16. He was working, 3 menial jobs, making, minimum wage, and came to me and I told him, hey, you need a skill. You need something that someone's going to pay you a good amount of money to do every day. And I said, you've got the work ethic, now you need the skill. And so he came to the program, spent 2 years of an investment in the program while still working. He's now 18 years old. He's been working for Sundt Construction for almost a year. And I don't know if you'd be okay with me sharing it, but I'm gonna share it anyway. He's 18 years old and he's about to turn 19 and he makes $29 an hour working for Sundt Construction. His life has never been better. His mother's life has never been better. They don't have the stress of not having enough money to pay the bills and things like that anymore. So that's the kind of impact that this partnership has had on our community. And that's one story. And I know it's easy to share the big story, but we have multiple other ones. I mean, I had 6 different graduates from Central Arizona College, 4 of which that have gone to work for Sundt Construction, call and wish me a happy Father's Day the other day. That's the kind of impact that we're having on the community. And I think that's incredible. I wish we would have started doing this 20 years ago, but. Another thing I'd like to add. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut somebody off?
Nope, go ahead, James.
Another thing I'd like to add that we talked about a lot of the benefits. I'll tell you one of the biggest benefits is not only have we kind of redefined what a partnership is with industry, but we have done it in a record amount of time. We are sitting right now where we can bring on a partner, design a program, get it through curriculum, build the curriculum, get it through approval in a 3-month time frame. Now, those of you in education, I'm guessing you're shaking your head right now like that's impossible. And I used to think the exact same thing, but I'm telling you, when you have the support of your college president and your dean and an industry leader like Sundt Construction, it is possible. You can do it. You just have to be willing to put in the work. It's not easy. I'm not going to say that all of this was really easy. It was a lot of work from everyone, especially the other 3 people that are on the panel here, but it's completely worth it. I mean, every single person that comes to one of our programs walks away not only with a degree and national certification and credentials, but also walks away with a job, a life-changing job. So it's definitely worth it.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the floor that we could answer at this point?
So Angela, we got a question on the group chat.
Yep.
Are there apprenticeship programs? So I'll speak from the Sundt Construction side, because there again, our apprenticeships are in partnership with Central Arizona College. So we have 30 apprenticeships: a heavy equipment operator apprenticeship, a pipe fitter apprenticeship, and industrial carpentry apprenticeship that we have currently for our in-house employees. But once they get enrolled into the apprenticeship, they're also enrolled into Central Arizona College. Sundt pays the tuition. We joint teach that again with James's team. So while our folks are going through the apprenticeship and getting their NCCR module credentials, they're also going to end up with their Department of Apprenticeship credential, and they're going to have all of their college credits. So it's really, really an amazing way to do an apprenticeship. James, you've got another partnership that has an apprenticeship.
Yes, so we just started the same model, the same Sundt Construction model with Wilson Electric. And it's over a 3-year period of, we started last semester. So our very first graduates went into the apprenticeship. Over the next 3 years, there'll be 150 apprentices in that apprenticeship. 150 apprentices, 150 CAC students, 150 times probably 13 certifications that'll come out of that program. And then we'll start all over again for the next 3 years. So the company is extremely happy with, the outcome of having a one-stop shop training organization like Central Arizona College. So these students, to give you an idea of how it works, so these students are recruited essentially by Central Arizona College recruiters and Wilson and Sundt recruiters, and they're, construction career days or whatever the case might be, to come join this program and to put forth the upfront cost and sacrifice of going to college. They go to a 16-week program that is also partnered and supported by Wilson Electric. After the 16-week program, they receive 4, is it 4 or 5, Sean? He's on mute, but he said 4.
4.
Yeah, so they receive 4 industry-level certifications, and then go directly to work for Wilson Electric right after graduation. But not only that, they're also then moved into the apprenticeship program with CAC and Wilson Electric. And so and because of their college training, they're actually able to start at year 2 through the Arizona Department of Economic Security. They're able to start at year 2 of their 4-year apprenticeship. So they're fast tracking through the apprenticeship, but they're also immediately put into an apprenticeship. Now, typically, you have to spend 4 or 5 years working for a company before you're even considered to go into an apprenticeship. These students that graduate Central Arizona College's 16-week certificate program will be a top paid commercial electrician within 4 years in the state of Arizona, making a very good wage and obviously filling the gap of electricians. Electricians, I believe, is number 4 on the biggest need for skilled trades in Arizona right now. So we can't fix it, but we're definitely putting a big dent in it.
Hey, Angela, if I could, I'd like to address Melissa Knight's other question up there, and it was about the probation officers and the program. Speaking from the construction industry, I feel like we are one of the strongest second chance career opportunities out there. A lot of the projects that we have at Sundt Construction, there are some that require background checks that may, limit some people, but be honest with you, a lot of the work that is done in construction doesn't require a background check that's going to hold somebody back from gaining a great career. And so going through Central Arizona College and then getting all of the education and experience that they get there also, because the way Central Arizona College is set up, it really is set up a lot like a job site. So they're getting some real-time experiences, and then they're going to have companies coming to them recruiting out of that college for an opportunity, that they deserve if they've whatever they did and they've done their time and now they're out. They deserve that chance to be a successful citizen with a successful job. So I definitely encourage probation officers to contact James and see about getting them into the CAC Sundt program.
Yep. And James's email was provided in the chat as well. So please feel free to reach out to him. And then Melissa also had a question as far as how participants typically pay for this program. Dr. Elliott responded that their scholarships, most students qualify for federal aid, such as the Pell Grant. CAC's tuition is $86 a credit hour. And if a student graduated from a Pinal County High School and signed the Promise for the Future agreement in 8th grade, it is free. And
if I can add to that, Angela?
Yes.
Anybody that Sundt hires out of the partnership program, we pay them $1,000 sign-on bonus because they went through that program. So that puts a big dent in whatever they pay in pocket. $1,000 sure goes a long way towards it.
All right. Are there any other questions from the floor? That we can address?
While we're waiting on questions, I was thinking about something that I'd like to add is, we're talking about construction right now, and Sean and I have had an opportunity to sit on many workforce development committees, including the National NCCR committee. But what we found is this model isn't just for construction and skilled trades. Like, this model can work anywhere. It can work in health careers. It can work in business training and business industries. It can work across the board. It's not a construction only partnership or formula that works. We've had multiple people reach out to us from significantly different industries to capture this model so that they could go back to their college and utilize it. So it's not just for construction. I think that anyone that is able to build a partnership with a strong company or organization can benefit the same way that Sundt and CAC has benefited.
All right. I'm not seeing that there's any new questions that have popped up in the, oh, there is one that just popped up from Susan. Is the IT certification following the same model? And can you talk a little bit about that certification?
Actually, the IT certificate for CAC, we're just getting started for the fall. I think there's a group. The rest of the colleges have started ahead of time. So I think they started in May. And so they are doing some summer programming, and CAC is not going to start till probably the fall. We came on probably in June, and so we're still in the midst of signing the MOU and getting everything started. So I don't have much to say beyond that. I'm sorry.
Well, and if I could just add, and the IT department doesn't fall under the skilled trades and workforce development division that I run. But I will say that we do follow this model in a lot of different programs, or a lot of, we followed this exact same model with our Lucid partnership. And we'll follow this model probably, from here on out because of the success that we've had with it. And I'm not sure who's heading up the program with IT, but I'd be happy to sit down, and I know Sean would too. That's kind of the beauty of it, is when you have an industry leader and a community college that are both vested, you become mutually vested in each other's company outside of exactly just your partnership. There's many times that Sean and I sit down and we talk about things that are going on at Sundt and trends and things like that. And there's a lot of times that Sean sits down and talks to people outside of the skilled trades department. So I would hope that they follow this model and they find a strong partner to partner with.
And I might just add,
Go ahead.
Sundt has been a true partner in the sense that when Wilson Electric wanted to do their program, Sean was sitting at the table with Wilson Electric helping us figure out how to meet their needs. And then helping us, giving us ideas and suggestions. And in another situation where I was working with another company, I kind of was coming up against some challenges in the thought of how this might come together. And Sean came in with a solution, and it had nothing to do with Sundt. It had nothing to do with the program that we have here. It was with a completely different company, a completely different scenario. And Sean came to me and he said, "Hey, I think I got a solution for you." And it was the solution that I needed. So I think people, if you're around us in person, you can see that it's a true partnership. But I think that those are other aspects of it that make it quite unique.
Yeah, I had to pay them a lot of money to like me up front, but since it's starting to work out really well.
Tina, did you have anything you were going to add?
Along those same lines, I just wanted to, I was going to say a little bit about what Jackie said. I had the privilege of becoming a dean about a year ago. And so when I met Sean and that kind of thing, I instantly liked him. And I can see why the partnership is so strong. It's because of all the hard work that James and Jackie and Sean have done prior to me coming on. I haven't really done much, but watched the partnership and be very impressed with the standards that they've set. So kudos to all of you.
Well, and that's something that we always say when we do these presentations is that normally if you were to come visit on any given day, not today, as we're shut down right now, but on any given day other than a pandemic, if you were to come visit our area and you were to walk around, you wouldn't be able to tell who works for Sundt Construction and who works for Central Arizona College. We wear the same uniforms. I mean, Sean made sure that, all the instructors, whether, regardless of who pays them, has the exact same skilled trades partnership shirts to wear. We wear the same hard hats. And you can't tell the difference. If you walk into a classroom and you see an instructor delivering NCCR credentials, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference if they worked for Sundt or if they worked for Central Arizona College. And I think that's the kind of seamless partnership that we're missing in not just the skilled trades industry, but in all industries. There's a disconnect between the colleges and the training organizations, for-profit, nonprofit, and the actual end user, which is the employer. And so the only way we're going to bridge that is by working closer together. For far too long, companies were willing just to cut a check and let the colleges, run with it. And we found, and I know Jackie's got a couple statements about cutting checks that, I think are important, but, we got to get away from that model and get more to working together to solve the problem.
Yeah, James, if I could add to that, we've said a couple times on this call that we know that it works. Well, it's not just the Central Arizona College Sundt model. We've branched out. You heard James talking about their partnership with other construction companies. Sundt, we took this model to Texas. We have a lot of work in Texas, and we started up a partnership with Tarrant County Community College. The major difference is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Sundt has a presence, but it's not as big as it is obviously in Arizona. So we went in and talked to some of the bigger contractors in the area, brought them on into the partnership as one of the major role players. And that program is going great. We're now in talks with Alamo College and another group that deals specifically with veterans to work with the veterans as they're cycling out of the military and coming into construction. That partnership's going to help pave the way. James, I lost the name of it, but what is the other group that you've been working with extensively? I think it's in Illinois.
Yeah, so we've been working with, and actually Jackie knows the name of the college. It's the ones that were with us at the Bellwether.
Richland.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, the name you put me on the spot and it escaped me. But much like Tarrant County College, Richland reached out to us. It was a really funny email. They were like, "Hey, we finally found a Sundt partner." Like, they didn't even tell me the name of the partner. They just said, "We finally found a Sundt partner." And so they were really excited, and now we're working with them to get to show them exactly what the process is. To do exactly what we did here in Arizona. And then one of the things that Sean always says is that the reason that this partnership works so well is we all checked our egos at the door, and for those of you that on the call that are in education, that ego can be a big problem or a big roadblock in these kinds of partnerships. The company comes in and they're like, "Look, we're the best company in Arizona, and we want to partner with you." And there's a lot of ego there. And then a lot of times in education, you've got educational organizations saying, "Well, we're the educators. We're the most knowledgeable people." We never ran into that with Sundt Construction. Luckily, we were all able to check our egos at the door and just put all of our best efforts toward accomplishing the mission. So that's another big aspect of it. And luckily, Richland, he's got an incredible team up there that will be able to do the same thing. But at the end of the day, Sundt never set out to fix a Sundt Construction problem. Sundt always set out to fix a industry problem, which was not having enough skilled professionals, skilled craft professionals, not only in the state but in the country. You know, it doesn't benefit Sean Ray or Sundt Construction to travel all over the country talking to community colleges about how to partner with their local construction company. It doesn't benefit Sundt or Sean to do that, but they didn't set out to fix a Sundt problem. They set out to fix a problem in our country right now, which was not enough people going into these industries. And I can't say that we fixed it, but I know that we're making a big dent in it. And you know, if we can get Tarrant County College in Texas and Richland and some of these other colleges to follow the same format, I feel like we might be able to win this fight that we're in.
You know, I agree with you, James. And one of the things that we really haven't talked about, I appreciate all the kind words about, you know, what Sundt Construction's doing, but here's a hardcore reality. None of this would have happened if Jackie hadn't taken a chance. Because the college, let's be real, the college took on all the risk. Central Arizona College never asked us for a dime. You heard Jackie talking about it. All Jackie said is we need to work this curriculum together. We need to work this as a team. She never asked us for anything. Now, you know, we donated things when we saw the need, but that's a big risk for, in my opinion, a college president to take. It's a little easier for Richland and Tarrant County and Alamo to do it now because they've seen the success of the program. But Jackie was sitting there with Dan Haig, who was my former boss. He's since retired, but she's sitting there with me and Dan and James, and we're telling her about this idea that we have, and thank the Lord she saw the vision and took a chance on it. So Jackie, a lot of credit goes to you, and we really appreciate you for that.
Yeah, agreed. Jackie, maybe you could talk a little bit about when TCC came to visit and some of the questions they were asking you about traditional partnerships and stuff like that.
Angela, where are we on time? Are we okay, or?
We have about 4 minutes.
Okay. You know, Sean's right. We did take on the risk. And of course, I kind of had some backup plans in my head. But when Tarrant County came, the president asked me those typical presidential questions that you would ask. And he said, well, what was your planning process for this? And I said, well, we didn't really have one. We just jumped in. And he said, well, what was your budget for this, Jackie? And I said, well, I knew I had about, what was it, James, $10,000 that we were spending already on an apprenticeship program that was with maybe 4 students that were in Maricopa County and not even Pinal County. So I knew I had a little bit of that, but I really didn't have a budget. And so he asked me all these traditional presidential questions about how you would traditionally approach a partnership. And my answer to every one of them was, nope, didn't do it that way. Nope, didn't. And, you know, at the end of the day, maybe that's what works is I love my profession, but doing things the traditional way just doesn't work for what business and industry needs. So the traditional higher ed way is a completely opposite of how business and industry operates. And that's why we tagged this education at the speed of industry. And I have to say, higher ed's always kind of prided themselves in doing it, but until we actually just kind of dove in the deep end and did it, I don't think that anybody has approached it this way. And it is unconventional and it is untraditional. But students are graduating and getting jobs, so I'm not going to apologize for being unconventional or untraditional at all.
All right. Well, thank you to all of our panelists. Are there any final questions that anybody may have from the floor? We have just about 2 minutes left. While we're waiting to see if there's any final questions, I do want to thank Ashley, who has been on. She is actually with Arizona Western, but She helped coordinate our Zoom call for us, so I appreciate her assistance in making sure that this call has gone off perfectly without a hitch. So
Thank you. It was a pleasure. I'm really impressed with everything you guys are doing, and I want to bring some ideas back to our college. So it was a pleasure meeting all of you and hearing what you have to say. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you,
All right.
Ashley. And you can tell Daniel to give me a call.
I will.
I just want to apologize. I put the Sundt hat on backwards. And so James had to text me to go ahead and turn it around. So I'm sorry,
You just had
Sean.
it set up like a welder. You were just like a welder. That's our story.
Which is definitely backwards.
Yes.
But one of the things as a marketing professional, I think it's important to mention too that we hadn't discussed, but everything has been co-branded with Sundt and CAC. And so that has also been huge in making sure that both entities are recognized for the efforts that are being put forth. So anyway, Melissa Knight has added a comment. We're so lucky to have such amazing people in Pinal County. Thank you all for your work that you've done to put this together. So, all right. I don't see any other questions, but I want to thank everybody for their time, and to our presenters, thank you today for explaining about the program. And it's obvious that it's been a success, and it's rewarding to see the excitement in your voices, or hear the excitement in your voices and see the excitement in your expressions as you talk about that. And I think that's another thing that makes this program successful. So, all right. Thank you all, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.